going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Africans react to the Dudula, Operation Dudula, and the xenophobic movement in South Africa. Listen, I keep trying to tell you, this is not a tribal battle. This is not an ethnic battle. It's not a religious battle. All right? This is a battle between black intelligence and awareness and black ignorance and unintelligence. That's the battle. The battle is a battle we're all fighting amongst each other, you know, to the hearts and minds of our own people to say, hey, man, this is what's going on. This is why this is happening, right? That's the battle we're happening. Now, we got some on my side, right, who are woke, who are aware, who are fully exposed to what it is that the apparatuses of white supremacy does to people, and you have those who are simply reacting emotionally and they're just reactive to things that happen to them based off the infrastructure which they live in within that white supremacist institution, even if that white supremacist institution looks different depending on what country it is, right? So we need to have black people from various different perspectives of the world and economies talking about this. We need to have black people, everybody talking about it, and we need South Africans to continue to talk about it and fight against it. The same way as an African American, I fight against the xenophobic hate within my community is causing much damage globally in the hearts and minds of people, right? Which is FBA, ADOS, and all those groups. South African, Pan-Africans, and pro-blacks have to do exactly the same thing, as we are fighting the same enemy, using the same tactics against us, because the enemy knows that it does work, because they're using our emotions against us. They're using our struggles against us. They're using the fact that some of us are still in survival mode and can't sit back and concentrate and articulate and comprehend and explore the possibilities of a better future because they're too busy trying to put food in their mouth to survive for the next day. You got to understand there's people, we got in our African global black world, we got people at different levels of economic society, and they're all going to react to the same situation a little bit differently based off their perspective, based off what they have, based off what they know, based off what they're being told, based off what they're being educated, right? So that's the fight. All right. So if you're a Pan-African, you're pro-black, you're not fighting another black African American or another black Caribbean or another black British, or you're not fighting them because of the white ethnic or the nationality that they have at this current moment, the ethnicity that they resonate with at this moment. You're fighting something that's from within. It's the ignorance. Once you give them the information and once they're able to comprehend it and make a better decision, we can know if those people can come along with us and join the ranks of us black people who want to see us all do better no matter where we come from and what language we speak around the world, right? But those who are provided the information and choose to still be married to white supremacy because they're comfortable with it, we're going to have to let them go. We're going to have to cut the fat. We're going to have to consider them permanent enemies, and we can't let them back in the fold because we can't allow them to reinfect us as a community. I'm just glad that all these groups like to name themselves, which is perfect because they can delineate themselves from the greater body of black people globally. All right? Anyway, you guys tell me what you think in the comment section. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
Why don't South Africans vote for Malema? Because black South Africa is freaking distracted. I have an issue with black South Africans.
They are sleeping, Kwefa.
Kwefa, these black South Africans, these brothers of ours, these African brothers of ours that we also want a part of this African unity that we are fighting for, are always freaking sleeping. They believe they've made it in life. With that little bit of freaking infrastructure that they have over there that was given to them during the apartheid regime, they believe they've made it in life. I'm sorry. If it's your first time here, welcome to a place where we don't beat around with the bush. We don't beat around the bush.
It's the same thing. We don't beat around with the bush.
Yeah, we don't beat around with the bush. We don't beat around the bush. We call a spade. We're real and authentic with our crap, whether you like it or not. You're welcome to bounce. But if you're here, thank you so much for joining us. If it's your first time, welcome.
I've kind of retired from TikTok, but you know what? The situation in South Africa have pushed me to come back online and say something about it, because at this point things are getting out of hand. What South Africans are doing to other foreigners is absolutely unacceptable. I can understand the frustration of foreigner coming to their country and using their resource. I can understand that. I think every other country have the same problem. Now, how they're handling the situation is quite disappointing. Given the history of South Africa, they believe that other foreigners, other African countries, other African members of the land are the one coming in and taking their resources. But if you look statistically, people who own land, 80% of the land, or 78%, I don't know exact number, but I think it's about 80% of the land is owned by. So why are South African going after foreigners? Is the foreigner the real enemy, or I'm so confused here? And why isn't the government intervening with this situation? Why are they allowing civilians to treat other civilians and police other civilians as if they have the authority to do so, just because they're South African? Where is the government to handle the situation? I mean, I've seen countless videos of pregnant women in the hospital being kicked out, shops being vandalized, and what is this going to solve for South African? How is that going to solve the problem? This is xenophobia. It's simply xenophobia. And it shows how much hate a lot of South Africans have internalized. I love South Africans and I support South Africans, but this is disappointing and it's embarrassing.
Some uneducated black South Africans beat up another South African because this particular South African couldn't speak Zulu. In Pretoria, some uneducated black South Africans beat up another South African because he couldn't speak Zulu, and they thought that he was a foreign African national. So those particular uneducated black South Africans decided to take matters into their own hands, judged the person. So those particular South Africans, they acted as the law enforcement, as in like the police. They stopped the guy. They restrained. Am I being detained? Yes, you are being detained by these uneducated black South Africans. Those black South Africans that are uneducated detained the guy, judged him. So they were also the court. They were the police, they were the court, and they were there was the executor. You understand what I'm saying? That's what these black South Africans are doing in that freaking South Africa. They be out here forcefully stopping people, judging them immediately, instantly, and then they issue out a punishment also right there. They jump so many freaking normal things that runs in society that are supposed to take place if somebody has committed a crime or if somebody is an illegal alien, immigrant. Uneducated black South Africa believes that he has the right to ask somebody for their ID. I'm fixing you now. Hands up. Where's your ID? Give me your ID. And the authorities are still sleeping on this.
I have a master that taught me at school in Ghana. So we'll be seeing them all around here with their fathers drinking together. And then at times I used to, please, why can't you give me this boy to train him to become a mechanic? Say, a nice cat. I don't have time for that.
The bottom line is laziness. People are lazy. People don't want to work. Simple as that.
As a foreigner, when I come to this country and I read what is going on here, and I see this is free to get a certificate and get a job. I got a skills already. I come to this country. What must I do? I have to go and get a certificate and get a job. When you get a job, they say you're a foreigner. You don't have ID. They change me out.
When you grow, what are you going to do to support yourself? You understand? We haven't taken anybody's job. I'm telling you. If you like, let's leave this place for them.
1,000 years.
Nobody can work. Nobody can work. If you don't have a skill, you can't work.
They employ people that have got ID, but they can't work. You understand? They employ people that have got ID book, but they can never do nothing in that company.
Right in the city center, you keep unemployed people. So what do you expect them to do? Because they need to eat, they need to sleep, they need to survive, they need better life. You know? So they have to come and sit on those who are working.
This man is the owner of this garage. Why can't they come here that, please, I have a son who is 15 years or is 14 years. I want to give you this boy. It's like a school. All that you are doing here, we learn it at school.
This one is probably the one that kicks me off this platform, but hey, we gotta do it. Once upon a time, many African countries fought for the freedom of South Africans. Today, they have forgotten how we stood for them. my heart bleeds. Nelson Mandela will be turning in his grave. That man fought for nothing. Foreigners who live legally and doing better than South Africans is now the problem. But they fail to realize that the problem is because they might be lazy. Foreigners are coming to marry their women because they're treating them better, because the rate of abuse in South African men is the highest in the world. And so the South Africans are bitter. Now, here's the irony and the bitter, bitter truths of all this mess. The white population still owns around 70% of privately owned farmland. That's from a government land audit, not my opinion. So this is fact. They also hold a large share of the country's wealth and big businesses. South Africa, in fact, is still the most unequal countries in the whole world. Data from the World Bank backs that up. Black South Africans are still struggling with higher unemployment, lower wages. Okay, I get it. People are angry, but why are you attacking other Africans? How dumb is that? Why are you chasing families away and allowing the real enemies to live in peace? Is this slavery mentality playing out in real time? Meanwhile, this has happened over and over again. First, it was in 2008, then 2015, and then 2019. The waves of violence against African migrants, the shops were looted, people killed. But ask yourself, did they take your land? Did the foreign black Africans take your land? Are they the ones controlling the economy? The answer is no. Your pain is targeting the wrong people, and so you will never ever be free indeed as a black nation. And that's exactly how the colonial mentality system stays winning, by keeping black people fighting black people. Open your damn eyes. This is bigger than just the physical violence. This is trauma. Apartheid didn't just take land. It left a mindset, a wound. South Africans feel a sense of being shut out from their land. So when people feel powerless for too long, they don't always fight the real problem. They fight what's closest. And what's closest? Their fellow black Africans. But listen carefully. You cannot fix injustice by destroying your own people. We are one. You can't rise by pulling your brother down. What you are displaying, this superiority that you're displaying, it's not power, it's a trap. Even leaders like Nelson Mandela warned that political freedom without economic justice would leave deep wounds. And voices like Julius Malema speaks to the anger, but anger alone won't build anything. So, my people, South Africans, stop attacking fellow Africans. Protect businesses in your communities. Wake up and question where your anger is really coming from. Demand real change. Demand your jobs back. Demand fairness back. Stand together, because the moment you stop fighting each other is the moment real power begins. Real freedom begins. Those who have ears, let them hear. South Africans, you have forgotten how Africans stood for you and fought with you for your freedom. Pray that one day, one sweet day, we don't go back to the history where you came from, because then you will be left alone to fight for yourself. And that's when you will realize that this nonsense, this power crazy, superiority crazy flex that you're flexing will not save you. Those who have ears, let them hear. South Africans, give yourself grace. Heal. Be kind to yourselves and your fellow Africans. The real enemies are the colonial masters who are owning your lands and your businesses and actually in control of your politics.
South Africans commit more crime in South Africa than African foreign nationals. Let's say that way, because you people are out here trying to freaking distort the freaking truth. South Africans, especially uneducated ones, the reason why they have so many freaking townships like this in the freaking first place. South Africans create more crime in South Africa than any other nationality on this freaking planet. Why? Mathematics is right there for you. There's more of you, man. There's more of you. I don't give a crap if you people talk crap in my comment section. You should know by now, I'm the rules. I speak like this, man. Oh, it's the freaking truth. It's the freaking truth. Your government agrees with me. You black South Africans, your government agrees with me. When I was talking about Operation Dudula here, your government came out here and agreed with the rules. The only thing that was missing is Cyril Ramaphosa said, like the rules said. You should have said that. It's true, man. Level of crime. Look, it's because of acts like these we South Africans are taking matters into their own hands and taking it out on African nationals that the orange man in the Oval Office feels the right to embarrass your president. Then your president has to start, like Johan Rupert was saying, we have a huge level of crime. It's across the board. It's across the board. It's not just the farmers. It's across the board. It's within the freaking heads of these ones. Then there's always a stupid person here who doesn't have the self-confidence to take this freaking truth, and they'll just start talking crap here, like this individual here that's here just saying, you are bored. I'm bored with who? You must change your name. Your name is not Heaven. I'm speaking truth here about not fighting, about not taking it out on the African national. Heaven comes to tell me you are bored. This is where the scripture also says, many shall come by my name, but don't believe them. It's this one. Your name is not Heaven. You should be happy that I'm actually saying these things because I'm trying to help my African people.
I am ashamed of a South African president. Nelson Mandela is ashamed of you. He's actually rolling in his grave. African unity is ashamed of you, because if one Africa is humiliated anywhere, all Africans should be offended everywhere. What are you doing? Are you aware that Africans are being haunted, beaten, humiliated in the streets of South Africa by the same people enjoying freedom that was paid for by continental sacrifice? You are always quiet. Silence means sponsorship. Where are the emergency reforms? Where are the protection for African migrants? Where are the arrests of xenophobic attackers? Where is your leadership? Why is the energy always strongest when the target is another African? Have you guys forgotten how the entire continent came together during the period of apartheid and supported you guys? I just saw a disturbing video of a Ghanaian being asked to go back to Ghana. Nigerian shops burnt down to ashes by South Africans. Those thugs, barbarians, where are you? What are you doing about this? Have you guys forgotten how Ghanaians supported you during the period of apartheid? First sub-Saharan African country to get independence, 1957. Kwame Nkrumah, he made liberation movement a mission. Openly supported anti-apartheid and a colonial movement across the entire continent. Nigeria gained independence 1960, 1st of October. Nnamdi Azikiwe, he openly supported a liberation movement, gave political and financial support to South Africans. Nigerians gave money to South Africans in bundles. Nigerians gave bundles of money, bundles to South Africans, scholarship to those in exile, refuge. And today they are being killed, their businesses are being burnt down. 1960 to 1980, Julius Nyerere of Tanzania, he hosted South African fighters. Kenneth Kwandi of Zambia, he provided a refuge. Leopold Sédar Senghor of Senegal, he provided diplomatic support to South Africa. Algeria provided military training to South African fighters. Nigeria even had to nationalize the British petroleum assets, partly over apartheid-linked era interests. And today, when South Africans get independent in 1994, the whole of Africa celebrated like it's our own child graduating. And today we are being kicked. You cannot be silent. Do something. Act. African Union, Organization of African Union, Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, 1963. Addis Ababa Organization of African Union. It was because of you guys. Liberation of Africa, mainly the end of apartheid. The Soweto Convention, the Soweto Uprising, 1976. The whole of Africa marched, sang, cried for your separation. And today we are being treated poorly in your country. You have to do something, Mr. President. Do something. Do something. Act now. Else, we're going to know you're supporting this movement. And we are also going to come together and take measures against South Africans. South Africans have to pay for this.
What is going on in South Africa has more layer than black South African hunting down other black Africans, and all layers need to be highlighted. Otherwise, this cycle will repeat itself again, because remember, this is not the first time we're observing xenophobic actions coming from South Africa. One layer is why this is so hard to digest to the international community, why this is hurting so much. It's because of the recent history of apartheid in South Africa and the continental unity that it took to structurally end this regime. because of that, South Africa stands as a symbol of an Africa that can be united. So when people see pieces of media of Black South Africans slapping and punching other African immigrants, it is hurtful and hard to digest. But people have previously digested that with the previous waves of xenophobia, and people had a certain idea of a South Africa that is dangerous to Black immigrants. But in the recent years, people moved past that, because as South African culture started going global, people started singing the music, people started speaking the lingo. So people were able to erase this negative image of South Africa and have something that is different. And I'm even speaking from experience. When I was telling people at home that I was going to boarding school in South Africa, people were scared for my life. But now if you go at home and you mention South Africa, that is not the first thing that comes to people's mind. But in the meantime, we also need to discuss, why are people going to South Africa even, like, to begin with? It's because our governments are failing us, and we need to take this opportunity to highlight that and put pressure on our governments. I know personally of families who have done the trip down to South Africa to find better lives for themselves. It's a journey that they don't want to do. They leave Congo, they go down south, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, in taxis, in buses, staying village after city, after this, after that. It's something that they don't want to do. People falling sick, people being disconnected from the family. It's very difficult, and they do that because they reach a point where life is just impossible where they are, and they rather be in a place where the standard of living are higher, even if they're going to be at a very low they'll still be at the bottom of the economic hierarchy, but their standard of living will be best there. Our own governments at home should look at those videos out there and realize that people are in this situation they're in today because of them, because they're failing us. Another layer, in French we say un ventre affamé n'a point d'oreille. So when the stomach isn't fed, there is no mental bandwidth to deal with whatever theory you put out there to explain to people that the person that seems to be the enemy and the reason why you don't even have an idea of what you're going to feed your kids in the evening isn't actually the problem, but it's larger than that, it's systematic, is this, that. No, because the person are dealing with the immediate, what seems to be the immediate priority, finding something to put to their stomach and to care for their children. And if you think that the problem is bigger than that, in fact you believe that it's South African government, it's the legacy of apartheid and the South African wealth belonging to the white minority, you also can't alienate those people who are subjecting other Africans to the violence. You still can't alienate them, because you also need to understand that they are suffering from the same system. Basically, for them to have that in their mind, they need to be in a space where they do they even send their kids to school? Are they themselves going to school? Do they even have something to eat in the evening? How do you tell to a person that is going through that? Or do we tell them all those things? It does not make sense for their stomach.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such an extent that you bleach? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate, you should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Free Sudan, boycott diamonds and gold. Free Sudan, boycott diamonds and gold. We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.